And I will be doing all of this step by step with you guys. So we're going to start with our background, which is that kind of sunsetty background. I'm grabbing you should have 2 brushes and a cup of water is what we need right now. And you're going to grab your thicker brush, put it in that water. And with just water, I want us to outline the hill. So I'm going to find the center on the left side of my canvas. The center is about here. And I'm going to move down from my center about 1 inch or so. And this is totally, it's just water. So I don't even know if you can really see it, but I'm bringing water across and slope it down and off. Okay, so water across, slope it down and off. And the whole top part of our canvas, we're just gonna first put some water down on. Nothing else, just water. Just water. Okay, and once you put down a decent amount of water, we're gonna start from the top and then go down. So the top it goes from like a pink, reddish pink to a purple to a little bit of a blue. So once you have your water down, we're gonna go ahead and open. It's actually a red, even though it looks very pink. The bottle calls it a red. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and open this red pink kind of color. And that's what we're starting with. So wipe off your brush a little bit. You don't want it too wet right now. And with just the tip of your brush, I'm gonna get a little bit of paint on just the tip of the brush. Once you have that little bit of paint, I'm gonna start all the way up top. And it's super watery right now, and that's okay because that's how we make sure that it's very forgiving to us. We're just gonna start with a little bit of red, slowly layer it a little bit more with that color, red pink color. Taking a little bit more. So far I have about the top like 2 inches or so, okay? And at that point, I'm going to bring my pink down even further. So as we add pink, we're going to blend it into purple, blend it into blue, and then add some white for variation. So I'm constantly, if you notice, going back into my water to make sure this is super watery. And once I have about 3 inches or so up top, that's a very watery light pink. I'm gonna put the pink aside. If I'm going too fast, just let me know. And I'm gonna move and grab some purple. There may be some paint on your lid, in which case I usually just kind of dip into there first. It depends on if your bag got moved or not. I try to pack them flat, but you never know. So once you're ready, dip into that purple. Same idea, but we can blend right up into the pink with the purple. Since there is red in purple, like red and blue make purple, it's completely okay for us to blend those 2 colors together.
We slow down just a tad.
Yes. Thank you for saying that.
Thank you.
I just kind of go unless I hear something. So thank you. So why don't we just stick to these 2 colors then for now? Okay. Once you have your pink and your purple down, let's stop right here and grab some white. And this will give everyone a chance to kind of catch up as well. So we're not going to do the blue just yet. We're going to grab a little bit of white. And what we have right now is really watery. And in order to stabilize it a little, we're going to be adding some white. And that you want quite a bit of white. So if you see, I'm being pretty generous with that. And you're going to begin to just blend with the white. And this will take us a few minutes, so don't worry about catching up or not. Yeah. The other important thing is to make sure that we are painting our edges. So the edges are, if I lift my canvas up, let's see if I can show you this, right along here. This is all edge. You want to make sure you have a color on your edges because you don't want to have to go and frame this, obviously. And if your edges are painted, then it's ready for display. So you're going to want to do all 4 edges as we work on this. Now, as we add white to the pink and the purple, you are going to see that your color is getting super, super light. You may want to dip back into whatever color, the purple or the pink, depending on how much you want of either color, and add it and begin to layer. I'm going to begin by adding some more red. I'm sorry, I keep calling it red and then I call it pink. Maybe I should just call it magenta.
Those 2 colors should be in layers, or like we can just mix up those 2.
So I would keep them a little separate. You want to have a little differentiation from red into purple.
Okay.
Okay. It's okay if there's a section in the middle where it's completely mixed over on top of each other. But you do want to kind of see the separate colors. So the one thing I do sometimes with my adult paint classes is we'll do some kind of like, especially with the virtual, some kind of a puzzle. Is that something you guys are at all into? You can do like a situation puzzle or something like that. You don't have to. Almost like riddles, but the adult type.
Give it a try, see what happens.
Yeah, okay. So a situation puzzle is I give you a situation and I can only answer yes or no questions. So you have to provide me with questions, and the answer to them has to be either yes or no. So you can't say like, what kind of car was he driving? You can say, was he driving the Toyota, let's say, for example. So let me start with a basic one just to kind of see if this is something you guys would want to venture down. So let me come up with one. What do you think of one? A man was found face down in a field. He was found dead face down in a field with a package next to him. He was not murdered and he was not poisoned. Then you have to kind of figure out what happened by asking yes or no questions.
Was it his field?
It's irrelevant, but I'll say no.
Okay.
So once you have what you feel is enough for the red and the pink into purple, we can begin to go into the blue. But I don't want to go ahead if you guys aren't there yet. So it was not his field. You know, it doesn't fully make a difference in this role.
Okay, let's see.
Did you just add purple or blue there?
That's still purple. It might look a little blue on camera, but yeah, I still added purple. But I am about to grab some blue. Now, because it is sky, it doesn't have to be fully one color or the other. It can be like a little bit of a variation.
My paint is like kind of dry. Can I just mix little bit water?
Yeah, yeah, you totally can. Definitely. For your blue, is that the? Yeah. Mine looks a lot waterier on camera than it does because it's still wet. So as it dries, you guys will actually start to see the real color on my canvas. Yeah, I know it looks a little different right now on the camera. So yeah, we've just pretty much blended our sky. And once we're done with this, we'll move on to the hill. If you guys feel that you are done, just let me know. But I'm going to keep kind of layering until I ask each of you and you tell me you're ready. So anyone else have a question about my field? Or are we not puzzle people?
No, now you got me into it. Was the package open?
No, unopened package.
Not his field, unopened, but it's relevant, unopened package.
And make sure you're physically picking up that canvas and doing your edges. I'm going to pick it up, make sure I'm getting paint all the way down to my edges. So if you notice, you end up having to use a lot more white than you thought you would ever need, because the white really is what kind of brings it all together. Now, if you're going from blue back up to red, make sure you wash your brush in between, just so you keep those colors nice and like solid. And I like adding white streaks and make it obvious that it's so that it's obvious that it's not like a solid red or a solid purple. Put like little streaks of white and blend around it. Okay. And again, it's up to you how much of the purple or blue you add. That's like poetic license, right? So just so you prepare in your mind, the next thing we're going to be doing is that hill. And the hill, I do want to make sure I still have some blue showing in my sunset, which is why I'm kind of adding a little bit of a blue strip right along the bottom. Because a lot of times we do the blue so low that the hill kind of hides it. So I'm bringing it up a little to make sure that it's seen. Okay, so I'm now done with my background and I'm just going to kind of put it aside and wait and check in with each of you. How are you guys doing? Good. Are you guys ready to move on to the hill, or are we still working on our sky?
Still working on this.
Done. Then we will wait.
Was the guy in the field face down?
He was found face down, yes.
Was he saying anything?
No, so he was found dead in the field.
Oh, I thought he was not dead. Okay.
Yeah, no, he was found dead laying face down in a field with a package nearby or next to him. An unopened package. And he was not murdered or poisoned.
Was it winter time?
It's irrelevant, but no, it wasn't.
I had an idea. That shot
I always
that.
have an answer, but no.
Hmm, hmm.
Was it one of those beehives that you can order?
No. No. So I can give you a hint. You want to find out how he got there.
Did he walk into the field?
Sorry?
Did he walk into the field?
No, he did not.
He did not.
He
Okay.
did not.
Did someone drag him into the? Oh no, he wasn't murdered. So you said, so I can't use
No.
it. Never mind.
But no, he wasn't dragged.
Did he fall into the field?
Yes.
Prior to being in the field, was he in an airplane?
Yes.
So did he fall out of the airplane?
No.
No. Hmm.
I thought the same. He fell from the aeroplane.
Yeah.
Was the airplane also in the field?
No.
Oh, how the heck did he get there? Hmm.
I mean, you're on the right track. I'm going to keep quiet though. See, it gets you thinking differently. It really does.
Did he jump out of the airplane?
Yes.
Was the package his parachute?
Yes.
Didn't open, did it?
Oh.
Wah, wah.
I was going for winter time, and then that Santa Claus, the reindeer, revolted on him. Yeah.
Revolted. So that's a situation puzzle. There are a lot of them, and I know quite a few. So if you want another one, I will pull one out. I actually have them on a Google Doc because people like them. So ladies, the next thing that we are going to be doing, so I am going to move on. Is that okay if we?
Okay.
Okay. I'm wetting my brush a little bit. Tip of my brush is going to be wet, and I want you to take a very small amount of blue, like barely on the tip of your brush. I don't know if you can see this, but there's barely blue on my brush, and I'm going to bring it. You can see that I'm doing that. I'll put a little more than you should just so you can see it on the camera. So I bring my hill straight across. And then I want it to curve and go down.
Is that blue?
Yes, I'm using blue just to kind of do an outline, and then we're going to lighten it up. So blue across and then down like that. There you go. That's dark enough, right? You can see it good. Okay. And anything below, we are going to like put water again And it's going to be a very, very like an ice blue kind of color. So very light, more white than blue. It's pretty much going to be white once we add all our color to it. So I just keep grabbing more white. Because once you put a little blue down and you start adding that white, it'll really, I'm going to push this up so you can see better. Do you guys want another one?
Sure.
Okay. Let me think, which one should I give you guys? Let me go to my Google Doc. Okay, a man walks into a bar. He walks up to the bartender and he asks him for a glass of water. The bartender looks at him, quickly reaches under the counter, grabs his gun, points it at him. The man says thank you and walks out of the bar. You know it?
Mm.
Was it a hose?
No.
Did
Was
you
it a
paint
squirt
white?
gun?
Sorry?
Was it a squirt gun?
No.
Did you paint white like all under? Oh yeah, it's all white. Okay.
Yeah, it's all white with just a lid. On my, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's a tiny little bit of blue, an ice blue.
Yeah, I see that. Okay.
Was it one of those pop guns?
No.
Yes, okay. Walks in. Okay. So he walks in,
Mhm.
asks for water. Bartender pulls a gun. He says, thank you, and he leaves.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, so once you have your ice blue hill, we're going to start adding our trees.
Bartender, he didn't shoot the gun, did he?
Nope.
Okay.
I did not shoot the gun.
Says thank you. Hmm. Why would you? And he didn't get water either, right? He just
Nope, did not
had
get
to-
water. Okay, guys, are we ready to move on to our tree?
Almost.
Okay. So I'll start talking about it. So on the left side, right here, there's going to be a rather large tree. And then we have a little fence line and some pines over here. So the first thing we're going to do, wash off your brush. And I have a paper towel that I'm just going to blot it on. And I want you to open up your black.
But we have to wait until it dries, right?
Not
Like mine is like little wet yet.
Is it very wet?
Yeah, like if I'll put that black, it will spread, I'm feeling.
It'll spread. You can try taking a paper towel and blotting it a little if it's very wet, but it should, at this point, the sky should be pretty dry.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we're
Okay.
going to be putting most of the detailing right now.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So I'm going to take black on my brush and I'm going to divide my canvas in my mind into sections. So this is my halfway point right here. And my quarter point is right about here. So right at my quarter point, I want to start with a line, just a line, and then we're going to extend it into a wider trunk. We'll start all the way at the top and pull my brush straight down and then lift my brush up. I use my thick side of my brush and just go straight down to there. So a trunk up here is narrower and toward the bottom it's going to get wider. So I want to take a little bit more black. If your brush is dragging, so we want to kind of go in one direction and go just from up to down on each one of these strokes, just like, I don't know who even said that earlier, but because if some of those are wet, that will at least help only be bringing black down, not any other colors on our brush. So now I'm going to take my brush, put some more black on it, make it a hair wider up top. We don't want to go too wide at the top at all, and drag it down. And in between, if you have to wipe off on your paper towel, feel free to do so. So I just have a straight line right now from top to bottom. Well, it's not all the way bottom, top to the white part, the hill. And I'm going to begin with some branches. So I am going to swap over. First, I'm going to extend my trunk and then I'm going to swap over to a smaller brush. So I'm going to take a look at my tree and I like the width up top until about here. I want to start widening it. So at that point, I'm just going to widen on one side like that. And I'll paint it in later. This is more of just for myself. And widen it like that. Now taking, still with my thick brush, I want to use that flat edge and extend the line from the edge of my tree, kind of go down for some roots right there. And what we can fill it in later. Again, this is just the outline for us right now, and extend it on this side as well. Okay, we're going to add to that later. I'm now going to put this brush in my cup, my water cup, and I'm going to grab my thinner brush. So with my thin brush now, I'm going to dip into my black. And we're going to have branches coming up and out of the trunk. So I'm going to start about 1/3 of the way down and angle a line all the way up like that. Up and off. I'm going to go over it again just to make sure it's nice and dark. And off that branch, we're going to have smaller branches. So I'm going to come with one right here, get more black on my brush. Okay. So those are that's the branch I have so far. Now out of this branch right here, I want to bring a branch over. If I'm going too fast, just let me know. Are we good?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Right here, I'm going to bring a branch over and curve it up a little. And I want my end to be a little on the pointy side. I don't want it to just kind of end in a rectangle. I'm going to be careful how I end those branches. I'm going to go back over it. And out of this branch, we're going to have a bunch of little ones. And I'm going to have them just going straight, not straight up, but have them angled up. Okay, so that's the uppermost branch. And we're just going to continue and layer down from there. So off that, out of that offshoot, I'm going to angle another one with another offshoot. Out of here, another one up. And you just want to continue layering it. I'm going to bring one more. And this one I'm going to go farther with because I do want to give it some width. We are going to be adding white onto this later for snow. So keep that in mind. A lot of times it looks very like bare right now. And as we add that on, you'll see the dimension it gives it. I'm going to continue down from here. With another branch coming up out here. So you just want to keep adding branches wherever you see fit on your trunk. And I have this large area that's kind of empty. So I'm going to bring one from up from here. And at the end of it, I'm almost going to do like a Y. So angle one up, one to the side. And fill in between with a few more. Okay, so once you're done with what you've deemed kind of done with one side of the tree, we're going to put some on the left side. Obviously, the ones on the left side aren't going to be nearly as long. Same idea, just an angled branch. Really just kind of building up on this. I have a little one right here. As many or as few as you would like. And like I said, we are going to be adding snow on all your branches later. I'm going to go back to my trunk and I'm going to fill in. There's some areas on mine that paint had not gotten to. We want to do the bottom of our trunk as well. So in order to do that, I'm going to not completely wash off my brush. I want to make almost a very light gray. So I'm kind of washing it off, but I'm going to leave some paint on there. You can test it on your paper towel and kind of see if you're at the right place. And I'm going to take from one edge, one corner to the other, because this is all snow, right? So I'm going to paint curve line up and connect it like that. I'm going to paint this whole area in black. And once that's painted in black, we're going to begin some of the trees on the horizon line. Using that small brush again, it's just going to be black. I'm going to do little straight lines. And almost like an arrow with a few arrow lines underneath it. And you can put them next to each other, close or kind of far away. Basically a pine forest in the background. Straight lines, and then arrow or angled lines. And I'm purposely going to draw one right next to my tree. Right here, this is like half of one poking out from behind. I'm just going to do 3 and 5 because we have some large ones over here we're about to add on. So I'm going to start with a larger pine right here and a taller one next to it. Okay. So I'm still working with my smaller brush. And this isn't going to be completely on my canvas. It's going to be partially off. But the one in front, in the foreground, I'm going to start about 1.5 inches or 1 inch in from the edge of my canvas. In a straight line down onto that snow that we painted. And at the bottom, I'm going to have it come out, angle it out a little bit for the bottom of my trunk. And off it, the same idea. We just want to draw, or not draw, sorry, paint a nice flush, not flush, lush, I guess is what I'm trying to say, like with a lot of needles and branches. Now we are going to be putting snow on this, so a lot of it is going to be covered. So as you go with your brush, you want to go to the right, to the left, but you also want to go just straight down and like forward to really give it the dimension that it's a full tree. Okay. Now the next one I'm going to paint is behind this one to the left. So my next line, I'm going to come to the left, about 2 inches or so, straight line down. This one isn't going to be as long. And the same thing as far as the actual branches. Left, right, but also forward and center. So you kind of want it to look, if it was just the top of it, that'd be almost like a coconut tree kind of idea, right? Because it's coming toward you, to the side, to the side. But you want to keep layering it. So it doesn't look like a coconut tree. So it does not look like that. And it's completely okay that it's kind of hitting the other one. Because when you think of a forest, it's not as if there's differentiation between one and the other when you're looking from the side. Okay. Now, if you want, if you have space, you can add a few small trees back here. I'm just going to put 3. I want to leave a little space in between. Now let's just continue, and we're going to put a little fence right here, if you have space for it. And we're going to start with the posts of the fence. So I have 3 posts. I want a decent amount of black on my brush. Let me ask you guys, are you ready for the fence, or do you want me to give you a minute?
No,
Okay, I'm going to give you guys a minute.
I'm on the smaller fir tree on the right.
Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes. You're good. You're fine. So the other thing you can do is go back, and if there's any places where you would like to add some more black, like I see some spots now that it's dry that I can tell didn't really have any color. I'm gonna go back and touch up on my trunk. And by doing that, you're also kind of giving it texture, which while this is a sunset, so we're looking at like a shadow of it, it's still kind of nice to have on there. If you want to add any more branches, you can do that. The other thing we're going to start to see or start to add is going to be some shadowing. So if you take that thin brush that you have and wash off some of the black again, just like we did on the bottom of the larger tree, if you wash it off and make it like a gray. And just add, I washed off too much. You want to add like a little back and forth of a shadow along the bottom. And that by no means has to be perfect because it is a shadow. And along the same concept, I extend the shadow around the base of the tree.
How did you get the gray again?
I washed off my brush
Yes.
almost all the way,
Okay.
and I had a little bit of black left on my brush, and that was gray. I just put it in my water, went back and forth, and then dabbed it off until it was a gray color. So just so you know what I'm planning next, it's going to be with black, but I'm going to put 3 posts and then a fence right here. So just to kind of talk you through it first, I'm going to come in about 1 inch from the end of my edge of my canvas. And right there, when I'm ready, I'm going to put a angled and vertical post. Then leave a few inches, do another one, and leave a few more inches and a third one. I'm not going to do it just yet because I don't know if we're all there yet. I'll give you guys another few minutes and then we'll move on to that.
Should I have white in the fir trees?
Not yet, no. Mine might look that way because it's a little still wet, so it might just look shiny. We will be adding white for snow. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the fence. Are you guys okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna dip my thin brush into black. I'm gonna hold it so I can actually see what I'm dipping into. And I'm going to begin with an angled line, make it a little thicker. My post, leave a little room and go up to the left. With the second post. And leave more room to the left and to a third. If you don't have room for all three, you can leave it at 2. And out of each one, I'm going to do a line on the top and then toward the bottom. And the next one's going to go off the canvas. So now that we've done the fence, I want to get that gray again. So I'm going to go back. And this time, let me grab I'm watering it down and making sure there's just a little bit of black left on my brush. And I want to continue the line of my tree. Down and across. And you can also add in some white if you want. I want to move this up a little. So we are now going to be adding snow. So with my brush cleaned off, because I'm going to be adding in just white pure snow, we want to start by adding to the tree on the left, wherever snow would kind of fall and collect. So with my thin brush, see if I can do this at this angle. I'm just going to literally paint snow wherever I think snow would naturally land on this tree and collect. Can't even see my top branch. There. Sorry, you couldn't see it. Let me pull it down a little. So once you've added snow onto those branches, we're going to start adding it onto the trees to the right. And I'll show you guys how to do that as well. So if you're adding snow onto these two over here, you kind of want to, I'll demonstrate and we can talk about it. You almost want to do little dots. And like drag the line down and over. This little line and drag and dots and drag. And both same thing. I usually put a lot on my brush, kind of dab it down and across. And come back to the middle and zigzag it again. So middle, then kind of zigzag to the side. And we're going to put snow on this fence as well. And you can also start putting it directly on that hill that we have our like ice blue hill. Just a few little areas where it's whiter to show that it's not all just ice blue. There is some snow on there. Or a lot of snow. In our case, there's quite a lot, right? With a thin brush, I'm going to come up in the sky. And I'm going to paint a circle for a moon. I'm making mine a full moon. You don't have to add the moon. You can make it a crescent. You can do whatever you want with it. I'm going to go ahead and make mine a full moon. And just to really finish the snowy scene, we're going to put drops of snow everywhere. Not drops, it's flakes. Sorry, flakes. And I'm going to do that by taking the tip of my small brush and putting varying sizes of dots throughout the sky. And even going all the way down to in front of some of these trees that we drew, painted. I'm sorry, I don't know why it's all the way down. Even directly in front of branches in the tree trunk. front of the fence. In between branches, on branches. Really, whatever kind of blizzard you want it to be, it's all yours. Or flurry, whatever's taking place. And that is our snowy scene. I'm just going to do another coat on my moon because I could see a lot of pink through it. And that is our painting.